Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm pretty sure where we left off, we had just finished doing the frame as far as getting it painted and doing some of the final fabrication on redoing the rear suspension. So that's done. And today we're gonna go ahead and move on to the cab. We've got some stuff we wanna focus on, primarily these outer frame rail supports, which are actually underneath the tub itself. They go on the outside. There's one on each side. There's some inner ones that we cannot use because a lot of that inner floor pan had been cut out to make room for the transmission, the doubler, and the transfer case. So these are going to get cut out and new ones are going to get put in. While we're there, we're also going to go ahead and focus on putting in a new driver's side floor pan. So let's go ahead and get to work. All right, so now that we got the cab off, that was actually a lot easier than we thought. So now we can really see what's going on here. And to be honest with you, we haven't seen this floor in this position before. So we knew it had some issues, but we weren't sure how bad. So just looking up underneath while it was on the frame was kind of hard to really figure it out. Now that we can see what's going on, these are the two outer frame rails that go actually right here. So these are pretty structural because they're really what holds the body onto the frame mount. So we want to get these replaced. Yes, we could probably go ahead and grind some of the rust off, put some rust encapsulator plus and make it look pretty, but for long-term structural reasons, we want to go ahead and get this pretty much dialed in so that we don't have to worry about it ever again. So these are going to go here. We're going to cut out the old ones. We got one on each side for this. And then the really worst part of the floor pans is definitely the driver's side. So we've got a new one for that. We're going to be cutting out the old one, putting it in, and then we've got to come around and somehow figure out what we're going to do with kind of cleaning this up and making it structural, but also we've got to make a floor pan, or I should say a removable piece for the trans tunnel, that stuff. So we can fabricate that later on. But we're going to go ahead and start cutting this out and get to work. All right, everyone, as you can see, the floor pan is probably 99% cut out. It looks pretty much all gone, but there's still a little bit more trimming to do. So the new one is actually fitting really well. Very impressed with how this is fitting. Just a little bit more trimming and then this can get tacked in place. The next part is going to be cutting out the outer two frame rails down here, mocking the new ones up, getting those tacked in place. As you can see, the floor pan is in place. It took a little bit longer to get this mocked up, only because there was a lot more trimming to do than we expected, but it's perfectly in place, if that makes sense. So it's right where it needs to be. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back off, get all the weld-through primer on in the right spots, tack it in place, and then also, I'm not sure if you can see, but we've got this one outer frame rail. This is all in place. I am gonna do a little bit more work with some support piece that I've got to mock up and put in here, where the other one that was in here is all rusted out, but the new piece is in place where it needs to be. Once that's done, we'll move on to the other frame rail that's on the outer side. Then that's going to pretty much wrap up everything we need to do as far as the floor pans and any kind of repairs that we need to do down here. All right, so just a quick update. It is Easter Sunday, so happy Easter. The driver's side floor pan is finally in place. It is 100% welded in, so that is good to go. When we took this bracket off to get the old floor pan out, we went ahead and cleaned up all the old welds around it and a lot of the rust, if not all the rust on the backside, which is in here. And then we went ahead and treated that with some Rust Encapsulator Plus, so that is good to go. The inside of that is not going to rust anymore. We're not worried about this. We're going to clean all the old rust up on the outside and treat that as well. And then this one rail that went all the way across was part of the structure to tie all this together. But this outer frame rail, where it tied into here, was pretty rusted out, this one section. So we had to make something new for that. That has been fabbed up and welded in place. That's good to go. That allows this frame rail, where it ties into, to have a really good structural support. And this outer frame rail, even though it's mocked up, it's not welded in place, but that's not going to take that long. That's really going to be easy to do. This is also another section we had to refabricate and put a new piece in for where this ties into. This outer frame rail, though, is welded in place, so that's good to go 100%. Pretty much all the structural stuff that we were concerned with for mounting this onto the frame is resolved, which we're pretty happy about. The next thing we really need to do is go ahead and put this back onto the frame, the whole tub itself, and start measuring what we're going to do to close this area up. We've got to get some sort of a panel. We don't know if it's going to be one piece, two piece, or whatever, but either way, we've got to make something that's going to close this up so that it covers up the drivetrain as far as the transmission back to the transfer case. That's about it for now, so we appreciate you guys watching. Have a great weekend.